Well, look, Rob, you and I texted this with you, and I was texting with somebody else who was actually at the game. I'm not going to say who.
Right.
And when the Nationals tied it up in the 8th inning, I texted you one word, and I did the same thing with my friend who was at the game. Kershaw.
Yes.
That's all you had to say. Kershaw. And as much as it's a team sport, particularly baseball, where you can be a great pitcher, and if you get no hitting, you ain't going to win. Or you can be a great hitter, and if you don't get help in the lineup or no pitching, you're not going to win. But this is about as much as you can blame it on one player as it gets. And I know he didn't give up the winning run, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally, I felt there was no way the Dodgers could bounce back from giving up that lead in the 8th inning. And the way it happened,
their spirit was
their
taken.
Most respected guy, right? Their best, historically their best player. I was hoping so because I like Kershaw, and obviously I even picked the Dodgers to get to the World Series. But I just was like, it's not going to happen. As you said, they were done after that. And the fact is, and I know a lot of people are putting it on Dave Roberts, and again, we're going to get to him. But I hate to say it, but this goes on Clayton Kershaw. Period. He gave up 2 homers in 2 pitches.
And the one to Soto that tied the game, Chris, that was a monster blast.
He knew it was out as soon as the bat hit the ball. You saw Kershaw just kind of
dropped to his knees.
Kershaw just fell to his knees.
Yep.
You didn't want to drop to your knees.
He did.
So the question some people are asking, and Clayton Kershaw is an all-time great regular season pitcher. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer. You're a voter. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He is.
Okay.
Chris, he is the greatest pitcher of this generation.
Okay.
I mean, regular season.
You say that confidently.
No, regular season, bar none. He won 3. He won 3 Cy Youngs. You could just look at all the awards, all the numbers. They're unbelievable. They're
been
unbelievable.
An MVP.
Yes, that's how good he is. He was.
But, and again, I think you're giving him some. Now, obviously, he's not what he used to be, but here's the problem. He's never been, I know he's had a moment here or there, but he's never been good in the postseason. Not even close to what he's been in the regular season. Here are a few things. His ERA in his regular season career, 2.44.
Which is stellar. That's stellar.
2.44. I don't know where that ranks, but that's great. 2.44 over 12 years. Even this year, you keep saying he doesn't have it. He was 3.03, but here's the deal. It's his first year outside of his rookie year when he was over or even at 3.
Right. He won 16 games this year, didn't he?
Yeah, 16-5.
Yeah. Most people would die to have a 16-5.
In today's era, that's like going 29-2.
Right.
Back in the day.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
And he gave up, as I said last night, homers on back-to-back pitches. He's never done that in the regular season in his entire career.
You just said 12 years. Never. Chris, never.
And yet he's done it twice, Rob, in the playoffs. So what I'm saying is all of this shows that he is just not the same pitcher in the playoffs. He's 9-11 overall in the playoffs, and he's 169-74 in the regular season. That's a almost 70% winning percentage versus 45% in the playoffs. And as I was thinking about, Gavin threw this question at us, is he the biggest choker in sports history, American sports? I can't think of anybody I'd put ahead of him.
Wow.
Can you? I want to. But people mention James Harden in the NBA. James Harden, yeah, he's had some bad games. I mean, 10 points against San Antonio, 12 turnovers against the Warriors. But he's also had some huge games last year. And now, granted, you can hold it against him that they lost to Golden State, even without Kevin Durant. But he put up 35. He's had big, huge games in key moments as well. Who else would you say? People, Patrick Ewing missed the layup against Indiana in the 95 playoffs, but that was one game.
That's one game. I'm hard for somebody to say.
I can't even put him in the same sense. Can you give me one? Because, again, I like Kershaw as a man and a pitcher, obviously, but can you give me somebody? Peyton Manning, what was he, 9-11 at one point in the playoffs? But he won 2 Super Bowls. And even if you take the last one, he was a shell of himself, but he at least had won 1 before that.
How come I can't remember the golfer's name from Australia? The Shark.
Was that Norman?
Greg Norman.
Greg Norman.
You know how many times he choked, Chris, and big?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'd have to look it up to give you the exact. Greg Norman is the first guy that comes to mind when I think of, like, ready to wrap up a tournament and misses a putt, or you know what I mean?
That's a good one.
Greg Norman is up there. Do you count Jim Kelly? 4 straight Super Bowl losses? I'm just asking.
I don't remember offhand how well he played, because I looked up some lists, and some lists just named a bunch of guys that hadn't won titles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't think
that's not what we're talking about, chokers. I agree with you.
I'm going to look up Kelly's numbers, but off the top of my head, I don't think of him that way.
Right.
I want to see what he did in those Super Bowls.
Because it would be like you have a chance to get a touchdown and you throw a pick, you know what I mean, to seal the game or something. To me, that's when I look at that, I think of somebody choking in a big spot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember him doing it. So, no, I don't think Kelly's in that spot. I mean, can you think of a baseball player I
think people looked at A-Rod like that until he had the 2009 postseason.
Right.
And you remember he had all the big home runs, tied all those games for the Yankees, and was huge. So that people don't use that against him anymore because he performed and he won a World Series. I don't know. This is a good question. We could throw it out and find out what people have and what they think, Chris, when we talk about that as the biggest chokers of all time.
Yeah, I'm looking for a name, but I can't come up with one. Because
you know what? As a coach, Marty Schottenheimer was that guy who always had these good teams, could never advance. Marty,
they couldn't even get to the big game,
right? And at some point, and you know what? I've been saying it all along too. Andy Reid. Andy Reid has had really good teams, but he hasn't been able to win the big one. He's been a coach for a long time. Andy Reid, I would say, is a choker. Would you say didn't have good teams?
I wouldn't say a choker.
He's had good teams, and
they should
have won. He should have won a Super Bowl by now. Andy Reid.
First, I don't put coaches in this same category as players, and I know obviously they have a huge thing a lot to do with the outcome, but it's on the players ultimately.
No, I get it,
and I think the thing that makes Kershaw such a maybe an outlier. I mean, we can't think of somebody right now that matches up with him. Is he's so great,
right?
It's like Peyton Manning. If Peyton Manning had no Super Bowls, and I'm not even holding the fact that Kershaw hadn't won a World Series against him, or I'm not holding that against him. But it'd be like if Manning had no Super Bowls and was absolutely horrible,
right? Considering how great of a quarterback the guy and all the MVPs and all the numbers, right?
So if Kershaw wasn't so great in the regular season, and he said it last night, Gavin, I know you got a few quotes from him. Give us the one where he admitted that the postseason narrative is right at this point.
He can't run away from it.
No.
There's no way. I mean, he can't sit there with a straight face and be like, I don't know what people are talking about.
Right. He had to own it. And that's the first time I've heard him own it. I don't know if
he had no choice after last night.
No doubt. No, but let's hear that, Gavin.
I had one job to do, just get 3 outs, and got 1 out, and didn't get the other 2, and they went over the fence, cost us the game right there. So it's a terrible feeling. There's no excuses. Just didn't make pitches and got hit over the fence twice. That's the hardest part every year. I mean, just when you don't win the last game of the season, and you're to blame for it, it's not fun. And the main reason is just the group of guys in this clubhouse, and it's just it's a terrible feeling.
So we don't have the quote about where he said, do you have it in front of you, Rob?
No,
because that was
don't.
probably, he owned it. He said, I'm gonna paraphrase. He said, what they say about me in the postseason right now is true.
And I give him credit. I give him credit.
Right. I agree. He's a great guy, man.
I love to hear all the names, though.
As guys that have had these types of struggles. Let's throw it out. 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Your thoughts on last night's choke job is all you can call it.
All right, let's kick it off with Jeff in Tulsa. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, fellas, just a couple things real quick. Okay, first of all, Geico-ween is a weird word, so it makes me uncomfortable when you guys drop that, but that's all right. I get it. Secondly, you kind of changed my take when you ended your caveat with regular season choke versus postseason choke, because my biggest choker of all time is in golf, and that's Jean Van de Velde. I can't believe you guys didn't bring him up.
When did he?
Five-stroke lead with 4 holes to play in the British Open. Dude, they created a 30 for 30 on him. That's how big the choke was.
You know what? I remember seeing that. Yes, I do remember that. But that was a one-time event, right? Did he continue to do that?
It's a big choke, though. I get it.
It's a huge well, there's two different things. I think there's individual, like one-times, right? One-offs. What was the biggest one-off choke? And then there's career, like who just consistently didn't get it done in the big moments.
I agree, and that's what we're talking about. Not a one time where you miss a free throw or something, or like you just have the biggest choker, and Clayton Kershaw definitely. It'd be hard not to think he is. Sean in Sacramento, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, what's up, Big Rob? What's up with the homie Big Chris, man? How y'all doing today?
Doing great,
what's up, man.
Love hearing y'all together on the radio, man. But y'all need to leave Clayton Kershaw alone, man. Where was Bellinger at all series long? Where was my man Henley Jansen at all series long? These are dudes who really choked that thing away. They were unavailable then, or they weren't putting up any kind of stats when they were available. So those guys are pretty bad.
Bellinger didn't do much.
No, you're right. There are other guys, but the only thing is Kershaw is the pitcher of this generation.
Right.
We're talking about and his laundry list of failures in the postseason is long. It ain't like he's been good and he just had a bad one this time. That's his conversation.
We wouldn't even
now
be having this conversation if this wasn't a pattern.
This is a big time pattern, no doubt.
Yeah.
And speaking of patterns, last night's game was 3-0 before you know it, and already Tampa Bay's in trouble. It's 3-0 Houston. No outs, and Houston has a man on second in the bottom of the first. And
they got a virtually unhittable man on the mound.
Exactly. So they're already down 3-0. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for the call, Sean. What about let's do David in Wichita, Kansas. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, first of all, thanks for having me on. Hey, and I got to correct you, Rob. You said at the beginning of your segment when you guys started talking about the Dodgers that haven't won the World Series since '81. The correction is 1988.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you. 88.
I had to correct you there, brother.
No problem.
Two things. I have a single choke artist, and it's a one-game type, off type deal, and a team choke. The single, Nick Anderson, 1995. NBA Finals against Houston.
He was never the same after that.
Undoubtedly up there
has a chance to come back and redeem himself with a couple plays, possessions later, and chokes again.
Yep. And he was like an 80% foul shooter. It changed his whole career.
Yes, because he went from being, the man on Orlando. Well, not the man, but and
he was a really good player. Yeah, he was more than a role player. He was like really good. No, that's it's hard to find, when you talk about a one-off, it's hard to find one bigger than that. Wouldn't you say, Rob?
Yep. It changed everything.
Yep.
It really did.
Heck, they may have won. I think they were going to win that series because they had that game
They might have won that. I agree with you. That was how
maybe
big it was.
Shaq doesn't even go to L.A. if they win. Who knows? I mean, who knows what that would have changed.
4-0 Houston. Unbelievable. Marty in Kentucky, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
What's up, fellas? I was so desperate to listen to you guys today. The radio wasn't coming in, so I climbed up on the rooftop, made a super antenna, and got you guys to come in.
Look at that.
My man.
Yeah.
My man, Marty.
But I'm standing up here on the rooftop, and I got to tell you, my opinion on these choke artists in the playoffs is pretty simple. Some guys are super focused and very fundamental, like the Peyton Manning types, the A-Rod types. If you remember, A-Rod used to be known as the choke artist in the playoffs of baseball until he won that championship. And I think that the fact that they are so dialed in the regular season, they lose their edge, their competitive edge on other guys when they get to playoffs, because the playoffs brings that out of a lot of other players, that super focus.
Nah, that's a good point. You know, I used to say that about the Miami Heat under Pat Riley, who lost several times to lower seeds. They would play at a playoff level all season.
Oh, you remember when they lost to the Knicks? The Knicks were the number 8 seed.
A few times,
right?
When the Knicks were the lower seed, and the other teams would raise their play in the playoffs. The Heat didn't have anything to raise it to because they had played at that level all year. I'll say this: Marty made a good point, Rob. If think of the guys he mentioned, Peyton Manning, who changed football at the line of scrimmage, right?
Yep.
Obviously means very smart and thoughtful. Alex Rodriguez, we get to see him now almost every night during the playoffs. Yep. And, you know, he is a thoughtful, intelligent.
He knows baseball, my goodness.
No doubt. And Clayton Kershaw, same way. Sometimes these guys may overthink and overanalyze. And, you know, there's that saying paralysis by analysis.
Right.
And sometimes you may think
you're not supposed to think. Sometimes
right.
You're just supposed to react when it comes to sports. And the guys who just play and not think about it too much, and if you let him get to you, it can mess you up.
Yep. Hey, it's the Odd Couple. I'm Chris. He is Rob. And we want to encourage all of you to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's right. You know, you can listen to us on the radio, and now you can watch us as well, and it's fun.
No question about it. And remember, oh, yeah!